to be taken away instead. Not even going to worry about the whole Lulu angle. They're just going to ban that Yanara away. Now we're going to reveal half of T1's
Taze
bottom
is
lane.
like, you know, it's not that meta, but I once beat this very team playing a lot of Zeri. I don't think he's going to play
Zeri Yumi?
Zeri Lulu? Lucian Nami?
Oh god, no.
Lucian's banned, and they already picked Ezreal, but Valdez is safe. However, I don't think that's necessarily going to see. I think they should have banned Caitlyn here.
I mean, Caitlyn
Lux.
Lux.
It's Keria.
Caitlyn Lux feels pretty good.
It's Keria. They have point-and-click CC with the Pantheon to set bindings.
And they don't even need to set up bindings. It's Keria. He just hits him.
He's true.
Ridiculous. But let's see what DPLUS are going to have as the answer.
Vayne feels pretty good, but you don't have great engage. You only have the Jarvan. If you want to just play Vayne into this, it's risky. You could pick Gnar if
Vayne
you're confident into it. Like, ooh, the Aatrox actually goes pretty hard. I kind of like that pick the most. I didn't really have it in mind, but it's a pick that allows you to brawl with this, Karma setup. I like this pick a lot here in this draft.
I'm kind of into it, especially with the fact that you have the Karma there as well to speed him up, get him into position. Showmaker does like the Anivia matchup into the Rise, but I personally like the Twisted Fate. Allows you to play to the globals, exactly right.
And it gives you the ability to have one more piece of engage in a draft that's running a Karma. I think that DPLUS really fixed this draft. Like, I didn't think they were necessarily going to be able to figure it out once that Talia was banned, but they were able to do it. And I shouldn't have been surprised, because it's Showmaker, one of the most iconic Twisted Fate players of all time. I don't think Caitlyn needs to shoot more far, but Keria disagrees.
You do shoot ridiculously far, and that's kind of good, but you also have the ultimate. So when Showmaker does show up and throws out the gold card, there's an option, but instead Keria is going to provide the fans what they want.
That's what
Season Keria play this is just so incredibly oppressive as well. So I cannot wait to see what is going to happen there towards the bottom side of the map. Let's get onto the Rift for game number 2. All right, T1 fans, definitely a lot louder. But that is kind of what happens when it is the T1 home ground. And so we'll just have to see whether DPLUS can do what they did in France, right? They did this. It was a pretty blue crowd. And Showmaker is going to gold card the heck out of that melee minion. And he absolutely did. Nicely done. Korea avoids the first Lucent Singularity. That is maybe something here.
See what they can do with this lane. Obviously, every single Montreal Q needs to have high value. That is the name of the game for this lane. Smash will get hit by this one.
Oh, man. Making peace with it, I think, as FaZe does get at least tagged by that Mystic shot, but still.
So Smash has to take, in this matchup, Cleanse because of the bindings.
And because of the Pantheon as well.
Pantheon, and you are laning into Caitlyn, who has a barrier. So Caitlyn's not really worried about Karma's minuscule CC, so as a result, this matchup actually also gets a little bit weird here for Smash and Korea, who again drafted this thinking they win by default, so they'll even have to use a heal to avoid that binding.
Yeah, at least they are able to punish a little bit, but the Snap Trap in position, Smash able to collect that minion, and FaZe still with a pretty big advantage as he stacks this wave up. Shu and Doran fighting this one quite a lot this stage, both of them taking grasp in this particular matchup. Seen a lot of the Electrocute Ambessa more recently, but not in a matchup like this. As the binding going to connect. There is a great Peacemaker as Korea takes a lot of damage. Heal going to be exchanged a little bit late as Keria does throw that one out. At least DPLUS is still alive. The problem is, I don't know whether that's the state of the lane that you want when it's Ezreal Karma, right? I feel like you are wanting to have that pressure.
I think
Korea hasn't lost on this champion. What?
Yeah, there's still a lot of power outside of this lane for Smash, right? He's going to be at his strongest when FaZe is at his weakest, assuming no accidents happen, no incidents here on the bottom side of the map. So we'll see if he can end up getting that 2-item spike comfortably, because he's behind in this lane, doesn't have prio, but he's even in farm practically. As Lucid's coming for a gank here on the Faker.
Yeah, there's the gold card as Showmaker throws out those wild cards as well. Faker in a bit of trouble, but does have the ghost. And Lucid, I mean, a flash flag and drag might do it, but Faker's running real fast and will escape.
You know, I was talking about the Ahri pick for potential to set up to get them into a position where they can find picks, but this Twisted Fate ends up doing it just so much easier, as you can't really miss the gold card. Faker is going to hold his ground, though. Didn't take enough damage to feel like he needed to back. So he's going to feel good about that because he doesn't have TP since he went for Ghost on the rise. Had to expend it. And we are seeing a potential follow-up here from Lucid.
Yeah, maybe a wraparound, but you can see Faker still has Flash as Shiu. Oh my goodness. This is getting a bit ridiculous. There's first blood. He just drops a flag on him.
Yeah, that was what I was kind of alluding to. If Faker did not respect, he decided, I'm going to stay. I'm going to greed. I don't have TP. And he pays for it. He still doesn't have TP, though. And he is not going to like what happens next. He finds himself 300 gold behind. Twisted Fate prints money. And this is going to be a potential strong point here for DPLUS moving to the mid game. As look, he TPs back in. Faker will be able to get back to the lane pretty quickly here, though. So it's not like the old days where if you die like that, you just lose the game. Kind of patch that out. But still feeling much better if you are Showmaker right now.
Absolutely.
So he's just lurking here. And Faker thinks he's positioned safely enough, but Showmaker just flash gold cards him, and there's just no time to react.
Beautifully played here by DPLUS, and you'd expect that from the man who has the pretty cool skin on this Twisted Fate.
Got those Damwon logos flying around.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Damwon logos. As Faker with this wave in a pretty awkward spot for Showmaker, and Showmaker without his flash does have to play respectfully, and Faker having not used it, even though he did just die for first blood, does mean that he, for some reason, has control of this lane. Feels a little bit counterintuitive, but does make a lot of sense when you think about the summoner spells.
Yeah. And the fact that there's a missing Lux on the bottom side of the map.
Yep, and a Pantheon in the game.
Doesn't have level 6 yet, but yeah, like you say, still an issue. And once he has level 6, that's when things get a lot tougher here for DPLUS.
Level 6 is being hit across the board. Showmaker with that Destiny Gate now up and available. We'll see whether the first one is going to be successful. This is the problem. They have one global, and the bad guys have two, right? And so if you're a DPLUS fan, I think it's going to be how well Showmaker uses this in order to guarantee a very fast kill before the rest of the cavalry from T1 arrives.
Smash, you know, obviously going for a different build path because he's Ezreal, but has a little bit of extra combat power here with these long swords in his inventory, and they've turned this lane around a little bit, so getting back a lot of control here. FaZe has the Greaves, so it makes it a little bit easier for him to dodge these, but he's not dodging them.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage, as now you've got a Jarvan here to deal with on this bottom side.
Yeah, they expect the Pantheon to come down. He's playing defensively rather than looking for an aggressive play. He's down Flash as well. It's going to turn to a bit of a scuttle contest here. Even though Showmaker doesn't have Prio, he does have that ultimate you mentioned, so if we have an extended fight here, it's going to be a close one as Owner goes in first.
Yep, should be the 2v2 as they look for Faker. Gold card comes out once again, but Lucy's in a bit of trouble. The Flash gets Faker away, and now Lucy's going to be taken down. Faker grabs the kill. Carrier trying to take the Pantheon for a walk and will save Showmaker with it, but that is still a big win for T1.
And it's the Flash advantage you talked about earlier. That's the big difference maker. The whole time I'm watching that fight, I'm just thinking, but Faker has Flash, so what do you do? They spent so much resources trying to kill this Rise. So many resources are expended, but he just flashes the wall, and the fight is lost for DPLUS in that instant, as it's a fast rotation up from Carrier. And the kill does go over to Faker himself, over the wall. So initially here, it's like, okay, I'm trying to set up this play where Owner used his stun. Now we turn on to Faker, and Owner can't peel for a second. But Faker has Flash, gets over the wall. Owner just holds his shield up. You can't punish Owner in this situation when Faker flashes over the wall because he's got Aegis.
Yeah.
And I think T1 just calculated this way better.
And it's the thing. It's the fact that that Flash wasn't on cooldown as Korea taking a full combo. Oh my goodness. Headshots just raining from the sky. And Korea does have to go home. Did at least have the heal to keep himself alive. But FaZe actually taking a lot of damage. True shot barrage. It's not quite the same as the EWC one there from Smash, but FaZe still taking a lot of damage here in this lane.
Smash played that so well. Made it look like he was going to go for the minion auto there, or the minion Q rather, and he goes for the damage.
It kind of blows my mind that, like, if you think about it, Smash and Ezreal are, like, almost the same age. And he's just so good at piloting this champion.
I don't even know how old Ezreal is, but he seems Smash age.
Well, he was out in the release of League of Legends. That was what I was going for.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the character's
Smash is a little bit older than that, but only a little bit.
Only a little bit.
All right, T1 with a slight gold lead, and that is a big deal against the Twisted Fate.
I guess you could say the same thing about FaZe and Caitlyn, though, right?
Yeah, that's probably a good point.
FaZe getting a little bit older now, but still quite young. Both of these AD carries in the very early days of their careers.
Which is kind of crazy, given the fact that FaZe is already very decorated. He still has one of the most ridiculous records in International League of Legends with the most kills in a single game. And the most pentakills of all time, which is just ludicrous.
Yeah, he's that guy.
He is.
As we are going to have a bit of a gank up here topside. Shiu has flash and his ultimate, but won't do him too much good if he gets hit by the binding first. Keria has flash if he wants to try to employ it. Doesn't need to, though. And even Rise coming up.
Yeah, World Ender coming on in here from Shiu as he does look to lock down Owner. That is going to be an easy kill there as Shiu looks to turn it, but it's not going to quite be enough. Pei's able to lock him down as Showmaker does cause the 1-for-1. But he does have to use his Destiny Gate in order to get up here. Doran not in as much trouble as it's only Korea and Smash down here, but Lucid's going to show up. Let's see whether this dive is going to work. This could get DPLUS into a good position. The ulti comes down, but it's not a great spot. Cataclysm comes in. Lucid looking for the kill, and he will find it. True Shot Barrage might have actually been enough for Lucid wanting to make sure.
Yeah, that was a very, very close call there. On the top side, T1 are able to avoid the crazy play from Shiu there. He had so much gusto, I would say.
I love the word gusto.
Yeah, I think that was absolutely a gusto moment. Like, that's where gusto needs to be used, where he flashes, gets the lifesteal there from his passive. So, Shiu here, I mentioned if they lock him down with a binding first, he doesn't actually have any outplay. It's Owner goes in first place under turret, and then Shiu flashes here and almost two-shots Keria as Showmaker shows up. The turret's ramping. That doesn't end up being a mistake. It looks like intentional the way this was set up here by Lucid to make sure they could block the angle onto Career, because Career's got the turret aggro. If he gets hit by that ult, then he just goes down there. Obviously, it would have hit him anyways, but the way that Lucid set it up made it kind of awkward to hit it for Doran, so he is not able to outplay that dive. Does require Lucid's follow-up flash to get the kill, however, as you pointed out. So will be 1,000 gold to lead here for DPLUS. Kind of winning on both sides of the map here in a small way. Could have been worse, though, if Keria also goes down on that topside dive.
The good thing about this for DPLUS is the fact that Showmaker is going to have like a pre-20-minute fully stacked Rod of Ages, which is not too bad. You can see Faker still just sitting on the Catalyst, and Showmaker already completely done with that item, so going to give him a little bit of an advantage as far as tempo here in this game. And I think mid-game is going to be so important here for DPLUS, because as the game goes on, we know what FaZe can do on the Caitlyn. You get to like 4 and 5 items. I just don't think that DPLUS are going to be able to contend in team fights against this guy and with Faker, who is just going to be dealing out so much damage once those 3 items do come in. As Owner in a little bit of trouble here. Gold card blocked from Showmaker, looking to try and get on over here towards the Pantheon. We'll be able to find the angle. Wildcards to chase out Faker as there's the flash away from the Cataclysm, but he follows with the flag and drag, and they take out Owner.
Wow, that was a very, very thin margin, I think, that Lucid had to play through there on that catch onto the Pantheon. Baker's flash was also just coming back up. Didn't end up needing to use it. Wouldn't have helped out the play at all, but definitely something they were obviously considering when they decided to go for that. And it ends up being a kill onto the Pantheon, but also getting his flash. Lucid didn't have flash from the kill earlier and was still able to get the outplay over the Pantheon. And as a result, they were able to take the first dragon. It's a very late first dragon in this game, but it's also a very valuable Infernal.
It's also very cool that we get a Cloud Soul this game as well, because Earth, Wind, and Fire always happens at least once in a T1 series. And so that's going to be happening again. I can guarantee it. Unless I get Chemtech, that's Orcs' fault, and not the fact that it's guaranteed. As this was just beautifully played by Lucid and Showmaker.
Yeah. Realm Warp here.
All right. Shiu going to get dove on. The World Ender does come through, but it's a public execution, and it's beautifully done. So the Aatrox does fall down. T1 overloading the top side. Doesn't look like there's much of a cross map, though.
Yeah, I mean, Keria is trying to come over and stop this turret from taking a bunch of damage. Career's zoning him away right now and preventing his backs multiple times. So Smash is going to get a lot of damage done. It's a bit of a race here for first turret, but even with these Essence Fluxes, I think it should go the way of Doran. There on the top side. He's got a full wave on it. He has 3 grubs, so they will not get this first brick. Baker's going to come over to defend anyways. Now, this is an aggressive play from Lucid in the jungle.
Yeah, going very aggressive towards Owner right now, and Owner is in a lot of trouble. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything about this, as Doran might be able to rotate down. He is trying to fight it. Showmaker's moving up, though. Ace in the hole, and Lucid is able to get the slam dunk down and take out the Pantheon. Still, Paze is moving up and has Doran in tow. Lucid, can he get a flag and drag out? The answer is absolutely no. And Doran is able to lock that one up. So a 1-for-1 trade in the end.
Definitely.
They're having a tough time, but I think it's still fine here for T1.
Absolutely still favors T1 on the trade, I think, though. It was so close to being great for DPLUS there on the catch. Here, I mean, this is just so clean. They chase him away. He has to ult. And then watch this angle here. Faker flashes forward as well, just to make sure they have the lockdown they need. And then here, this is the attempt, but Showmaker doesn't have ult. If Showmaker has ult here, then he can just come on top of Owner and blow him up here with that ultimate. Instead, it's Paze who's actually able to impact the play first with this ultimate. And yes, with the Cataclysm damage coming through, he still bursts Owner down. But Showmaker awkwardly flashes here, and then Doran shows up. And yeah, that was not the play they were looking for, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was almost, Lucid making the great escape, getting over the wall, getting himself out, but not quite able to do so. Now Doran does have the Eclipse built up, also has a bit of heal deny as well, which is great into the Aatrox. So they're feeling better in this matchup, and especially now with that kill, the assist, moves to about a 900 gold lead versus Xiu. I feel like Xiu is going to be pretty happy, though, in this game. Wants to be in the thick of things in these team fights coming up. And him and Lucid really are going to be the bash bros here in this game.
Let's see if Career can control Prio in mid right now and push this Caitlyn out of the lane so that Lucid has a little bit more agency as flashes back up. I think that's one of the angles they have here to, deny Paze a little bit of farm, start whittling away this turret, turn it into a Herald take. I mean, right now they have so much Prio. It looks like Career is able to, at least on the initial part of this exchange, start to get the advantage there in that mid lane. Showmaker's ult's coming back up, but he's very far away.
Yeah, it's not quite going to be enough. Does have level 2 in the Destiny Gate, but not quite finding too much more than that. So 5 levels in his Rod of Ages as well. Faker only on 1, as he built his a little bit later. 725 the gold lead, but the biggest lead in the game is Lucid right now on this Jarvan. Let's see what he can make of it as we hit this mid game and hit those power spikes that we were talking about for DPLUS. I think so much needs to happen in the next 10 minutes for this red side team in order to get a big advantage moving into the later stages of the game.
They also just dropped control over the Herald as well, over to T1. I think this was the step 1 of how to get that done in the first 10 minutes, and now they're zoned out by Caitlyn traps.
Yeah,
and we might see a late contest.
Headshot. Yeah, that late contest is coming in. The Destiny has been popped. That gives them full information as to what's happening here. Lucid picks up the Rift Herald, but lets her walk past. And T1 will just back away. Flag for information. And Showmaker still just trying to hold on to this bottom outer turret.
Yeah, he dropped his ult down as well for more information, too, on that play. And I think that was part of why T1 decided, you know what, I just don't like this. They know everything. And it's a really risky fight because the Aatrox had that topside prio to come in faster. And ultimately, DPLUS, they played a pretty fine line with letting that Herald prio go for the backs, but they did end up getting back control. Securing the Herald, though, still have not been able to do just yet. They will clear this wave. And in fact, not going to go for it right now. Showmaker's going to TP bottom side, and the Herald lives to sit in the Baron pit of another day.
Yep, and that is a lot of damage onto Career, but not quite going to be able to finish him off or anything like that. Faker with this wave that does move in.
Mikhail's first for carry. It means it doesn't have Shirelli as well, whereas Career does. So that's actually really valuable in terms of what they can do in a snap fight.
Showmaker finding a fair bit of damage here on to Doran, but now Xiu is in a little bit of trouble. 1v2 versus Faker and Ona, but that Sundered Sky plus being Aatrox is going to get him so much healing. And without the Ambassador there, without that Executioner's calling, this Aatrox is at full power.
Showmaker doing a lot of damage, like you said, pushes Doran out of the bottom lane. He gets that turret. They're pushed out of the mid lane as well. Paze is because Keria went up to try to final spark on that attempt on the Xiu, which failed in a 2v1. And DPLUS gets so much map control everywhere as a result of it. They're winning top side, they're winning mid, and they're winning bottom side. So now they're going to be able to get that Herald without even a team fight here. This is exactly what they're hoping for. With all the damage that Smash is putting onto this turret with the help of Career's Mantra Qs and the wave push here, they should be able to actually get the turret. See if they want to do that, though, or would they rather use a Combat Herald on Dragon? The choice is theirs as second Dragon here has spawned.
Oh, Paze walking up pretty dangerous into this Ezreal, but doesn't quite have 2 items just yet. Probably sitting on the gold for it, as T1 now getting into position to fight for this second Drake of the game. DPLUS claiming the first one, and if they even out the Drakes with the late first Dragon pickup, I don't think we're going to be seeing a Soul, maybe never in this game, but also not for a while.
Okay, that's...
Yeah, Destiny Gate to come on through here, as FaZe does get himself out of the way. Carry on with the heal for the movement speed.
That binding doesn't hit, and they just didn't like it. They did not like it. They backed away with Showmaker having a level 2 ultimate. They decide it's way too much control that DPLUS are holding right there. They decide to leave, which is the correct call. Faker is 5 minutes behind on the Rod. You can see he's down a level on this top laner, has his role quest completed. And so as a result, he's just not really... He's clearing the waves and he's not under kill pressure, for example, but he can't really control that side of the map very well, as she was just having a great game.
Yeah.
On this Aatrox. He's 0-2 because he was the focus of many of the dives from T1 in this game, but it allowed the Ezreal on the bottom side to kind of freely have control. And this Caitlyn, who won lane technically early on, isn't necessarily really at the point she'd like to be at. 300 gold lead, has second item IE, but this is the scary part of the game for the Caitlyn when you have 2 Sundered Sky.
Oh, Ox, man.
It is what it is.
It was my Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's all right.
It's not a good omen for T1 if it's not the Cloud Soul here.
I mean, Chemtech Soul on an Aatrox, that's what I'm scared of. Not to mention the fact that this Karma will be all buffed up by that one. I think it's a kind of cool Chemtech angle. But we'll just have to see whether we actually get to it, as it is still relatively late. 4.5 minutes until that soul point would be available.
There's so much damage at this moment for DPLUS. Like, they're at their strongest right now. 2 item spike on the Ezreal, about to have 2 items on Aatrox. The Sundered Sky double here for brawling in team fights. They want to fight wherever they can all the time. And I think with Showmaker having this lead, he's going to be the one who wants to set up. They're going to start pinching sides. They're going to start playing through, okay, Faker thinks he can just free farm. I don't think so. That's not allowed anymore. They're going to try to punish Doran if he's trying to push up too far on the wrong side of the map. They're on the top side right now, and T1 are scrambling to try to defend against a potential gank onto Faker.
Yeah, Showmaker in a bit of trouble, though, as Faker and Ona are looking for him, but he does just walk it off. Lucid making his way in. Showmaker very, very low, as the Realm Warp looking to try and deny. Gold card in hand. Lucid in a lot of trouble as well. The members of T1 are just everywhere, as Lucid's able to escape. Showmaker taking a long time to die, but ladies and gentlemen, he will, and down he will go. But in the meantime, she was taking the bottom out of turret. We've got Smash in mid, and now T1 are looking for this Baron in full vision of DPLUS.
Yeah, DPLUS don't have anyone over here. I mean, Career is coming over. There's a trap wall set already. Smash is going to be able to walk his way through.
Public execution is a little private this time around for Doran, as Ona taking so much damage from this Baron. We need Orcs to tell us which Baron it is. I don't think it's the Huni. I think it's Terry. I think it's Terry, and Terry isn't that scary. He's not scary, Terry. He's just Terry.
I haven't fully embraced the Baron jargon yet, so I don't even know what that means.
No, neither have I. I just like the naming.
I think it's any Baron is scary enough right now to push T1 off of it in this case. So they do leave. And I think DPLUS actually went on the exchange, right? They got that bottom turret. They got most of this inner. They had that huge push with Smash. They still have Rift Herald, and T1 got a kill onto Showmaker eventually, as well as a flash, I suppose. But that was the DPLUS were better set up on the top side of the map, and they instantly make the call when these ults get dropped. Like, okay, we can't save this. Let's just push. And then Doran also TPs, so she was like, all right. I think T1 really expected DPLUS to full send on the defense for Showmaker, but they exactly did the opposite of that. As well, except Lucid, he full sent it. He probably wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
But everybody else just did the opposite of that and played the map instead, which was the right choice. Faker does get a shutdown.
It's a lot of gold.
Big. Yeah.
And he now has his Seraphs completed, looking towards that actualizer, and that is when the Rise gets extraordinarily scary. I just keep thinking back to Zeka versus Chovy yesterday. Zeka had such a good early lane, but it didn't matter. Chovy was Rise in the end and did about a quadrillion damage, utilized Realm Warp incredibly effectively, and it led to a pretty comfortable win for Gen G in the end. And Faker, I think he's got the brain to make these Realm Warps work.
I'm just going to use this Herald here to set up a dive, I think. And there's Pantheon ult available here, but he can't get access.
Yeah, you can see Doran going to have to try and dash out of that Cataclysm, but Ona's just going to make his way up just going to dive into Shelly as Doran gets knocked up as well. Lucid looking for an angle as they get on top of Ona. True shot barrage, but it's actually Lucid that grabs the kill onto the Pantheon. Doran left alive, but the turret is in ruins, and they've lost their jungler.
Not entirely sure what the objective for T1 was there, because I know the T1 motto, which is it's written right underneath the circus banner every time, is every fight is winnable. But they could have just let the turret go, and Doran might have been able to get away, and even if he dies, it's okay, but you don't want to give more. They end up giving the Pantheon.
I thought you were going to say together as one.
Oh, I mean,
that would have also kind of worked.
Yeah. Hashtag brotherhood. or in the past, for some reason, being, we still don't really know what that was.
That was a bit above me, I think. I think it's kind of like the whole 6-7 jargon. I'm just not quite there.
They were ing, I guess. I mean, maybe being ing means the winning worlds.
Maybe it's a reference to the Australian bank. We have an ING bank. Yeah. Is that an Australian one? I've only seen it in Australia.
I don't know, actually.
It might also be New Zealand. I have no idea. I should probably not talk about things that I barely know about. I haven't been in Australia for quite a while. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about banks.
Game State post the Herald play is better for DPLUS, right? They end up getting that money.
Yeah.
They are going to have a lot of bottom side control for this Dragon. It looks like T1 want to threaten another Baron play, though, instead. Showmaker has ult and TP, though, so she been spending a lot of this game just free farming, which I guess if your T1 makes you feel pretty good because he's not fighting you in a brawl where he's going to be at his strongest now that he's got Hysterics online. But he eventually, I mean, if you're not getting anything topside, eventually he's just going to get too much money. And T1 don't really have a strong play right now to be made. Doran looking for this flank wraparound here to maybe catch somebody, but nobody's in the jungle for him to get. And now the Dragon is just kind of free pickings here for Lucid to take, even maybe solo. And the cross map was ambitious at best for T1.
Yeah, you've got Smash coming on over, so this Drake is going to be taken very, very quickly. Showmaker may be in trouble, though, as Public Execution are going to come from across the wall, perhaps. As there's the Pantheon making his way in, but immediately stops. There is the ultimate, but it's just barely out of range. And Showmaker will go down, but the Drake is going to be the trade. And now Korea is taking Ona for a walk. Shiu is going to show up this time. And I think Ona is going to die for the 5th time. Down he goes. The Umbral Dash through the wall there, as now Doran is getting enclosed here in this top lane. And I do not think he's escaping this one. Flag and drag to deny. And it's going to be Lucid with his 6th kill of the game in trade for an outer turret bottom lane.
Faker does get that turret. Pace is getting some additional farm here in the mid lane. It's not a completely D+ sided play, in fact, so this ends up getting T1 at least something in exchange for the Dragon, right? But the D+ were so ready for it. Now they actually say, with a man advantage and a jungler, we're looking to take Baron, and let's see if they can actually get over here. Faker does have Realm Warp to come in here. He just got his Actualizer. This is a risky call from D+.
This could be very dangerous. No ultimate from Ona, though, so he can't actually join. Doran can. He can get back here very, very quickly. The teleport does come through from Showmaker as Career's in a bit of trouble. Has to flash away. It couldn't be a 50-50, though, because there's no Pantheon in the pit. Down goes the Baron, and DK look to escape and trade only Career for it.
And D+ are playing such a good map game. Like, I don't even want to call it macro. They just know what's going on the map at all times, judge the situation incredibly well, know they have the damage.
Would you say that they know what they're destined for, Wolf?
Yeah, I would say that.
They have a gate, perhaps, that they are able to open and see the future?
I think I would absolutely say that, yeah.
Beautiful.
I mean, for me, the whole point, I hope we get this moment here, watch how quickly, Showmaker, by the way, he's 100% aware. He's like hovering his W. He's like, I'm going to gold card it, and I'm going to play this. And by the way, Aatrox is going to TP. He buys so much time here. He's so tanky on this Twisted Fate that they're like, all right, we knew you were going to force this play because we got Dragon, and we were ready to respond here. And I think T1, I mean, that was really ambitious what they were trying to do. I mean, they had Doran flanking for so long. They're like, we're going to get something. And they did, but it cost them the Baron and a ton of map control. The gold lead hasn't changed, but
that was a bit of a jump scare. Shiu is going to flash away the Public Execution, and Faker is going to shut him down. Did have to use the flash for it, but man, I'm terrified. I need to be really careful getting out of these replays. But yeah, they do have a Baron. They are going to push down this mid lane. But with that pick, it might help subdue, perhaps.
I mean, it helps them from, prevents them from having 3 pushing lanes here during this Baron, but I think they're going to get 2 turrets off of this.
Yeah, this bottom situation is a bit of a problem as Lucid going to get chased away.
I mean, you don't have many options as T1. Doran's getting a lot of money here. I mean, T1 have gotten a lot of gold, but they haven't gotten map control. Let's see if
the world's shortest gate comes down for Showmaker, looking to hold Doran in position. He's going to try and teleport away, and you know what? He's going to be successful. Out he goes. Showmaker is going to lock a red card, unfortunately. Didn't have time to wait for a gold. And so out goes the Ambessa.
All right, so that's a win on the escape, but what I was trying to say before they went for that big play is the gold has stayed really small here, the lead for DPLUS. In fact, it's shrunk even down to sub 1,000. And T1 have been getting the money everywhere, but they haven't been getting the map control over these important objectives. So you can see the power play here is negative, actually, for DPLUS right now. But they continue to push these waves, right? There's a lot of gold to be picked up on that bottom turret if it does go down here, as Showmaker is very far forward.
Yeah, public execution going to catch him here as Doran looks to get on top of him. It might have been a bait, though, as Final Spark is a support Lux, so it is not going to be Showmaker taking too much damage here. Still, had to use the flash in the play. And 1 minute and 20 seconds. That is the timer that we're looking at here. As the kills are even, the gold lead is basically just TF. And the Rebel Baron power play is nothing.
One day, you know, Aatrox will get the team fight. He's ready.
Yeah, surely.
30 minutes in, he's like, yep, I'm going to team fight. He's on the bottom side of the map where this Drake is spawning. Maybe this is the moment. Maybe this is his time. No, he's going to back and go top side.
I mean, if he has Death's Dance on this back, though, that is kind of huge.
He might. I think he probably does.
TA is done. There are some items coming in. The problem is, there's an actualizer here for Faker. He's got an arm guard to break as well, and FaZe is so close to those 4 items that I was warning everyone. There it is.
All right, so Owner doesn't have his ult. Doran's ult's going to come back very quickly here. 40 seconds to go. He can't make a play. They can't make a play to get Prio before the Dragon spawns, really, but if they can group here and get Faker into position to maybe be able to reposition the team fight, it's hard for DPLUS to actually fight for this Dragon. Are DPLUS willing to give this up is the real question, as T1 just kind of fight their way through this bottom side of the river here to get that control away. And this is the first time T1 have really strong control over the objective itself, and now DPLUS have to kind of play it blind here. Showmaker could ult for Vision.
Well, there's that teleport in. Death Dance in hand. FaZe gets his HP bar halved by that True Shot barrage, and look at you. There's a mega cone
He's ready to team fight.
Let's see whether he does make his way forward. Destiny does come through. Doran looking for a bit of an engage. Is into the back line. Goes Shiu. Lucid gets the knock up onto Carrier's pace. Trying to kite this Aatrox, but he's not in the team fight. The trap does go down though. He might even be able to find this, but instead he is taken out. Doran tries to escape and gets gold carded into the grave. And Smash should be able to help Showmaker grab the kill. There it is. 2 of the carries on T1 are now down, but the Drake was denied by T1.
T1 do get the Dragon, but they lose the fight, and the gold lead is actually the biggest it's ever been here for DPLUS, and it might get even bigger with this turret going down here in the bottom lane. Carrier desperately trying to Final Spark to buy time, but this turret is going down.
2.5k kills here for Showmaker. Congratulations for that one.
And this is a really big moment for T1 because FaZe is fully online. You can see it in that last fight. The fact that they deny the soul. Oh, no.
Oh, dear. True Shot barrage. Fair bit of damage onto Faker, but a little bit less than I was expecting, to be honest. I don't think I accounted for that arm guard quite as well as I could have.
Yeah, there's no Jarvan ult, there's no flash for Lucid, so Faker was actually in a pretty safe spot there, but decides to Ghost just the same. This is a really intense game. Like,
it really is.
It's not over till it's over on this one because they get the secure here. FaZe plays this so well. Like, he's out of the trough. Watch him play this. He drops one trap that she was able to avoid, but here on the corner during his Q animation, he's not able to avoid the next one. FaZe gets a few more autos in there, and maybe it's actually
if this was a team fight, though, like, if anyone's able to CC Shiu at all, right, like, he's dead, 100%. And like, DK needs to be, like, I guess, congratulated for being able to make that separation happen.
Exactly. That was the whole point of that fight, is they had no eyes on the Aatrox. He was able to wrap around and get that backside angle. If he doesn't, I think T1 smashed that fight. So DPLUS, they're not necessarily in a winning position just yet, but they do have control over this Baron pit.
Yeah, Showmaker does press the R button. Let's see what actually happens from it, though, as now Showmaker going to turn up, looks for Faker. Owner taking some damage. The Aegis now on cooldown is Shiu trying to press some buttons, but they're trying to hold him off. Owner sacrifices himself for the good of the colony. And Doran is looking to try and push away this Aatrox, but the Baron is live, and DPLUS have just killed the jungler.
Yeah, and TP back from Showmaker. He's at full health. I think they could have just gone for it there, but they want to play it a little bit more safely.
Looking pretty cool with his new hat as well. Showmaker now pretty powerful.
Now they can do it now that he's here, and it's not realistic for a contest here for T1. Control vision on this Baron as well, and Doran's going to go give his teammates the bad news. And with no Pantheon here, it is a free one As Doran is still coming over here, but I just don't see any world. The desperation ult from Keria.
Yeah,
it's on a low cooldown, so you go for those, but they won't get it.
You miss every shot you don't take, so you may as well go for the final spark. We'll see whether this Rebel Baron power play is going to be better. Right now, sitting at about 1100, Ashiu is going to look to try and get himself out of the way, but Faker was not actually in. That one, public execution comes down, and Ashiu is just going to die right at the beginning of the Baron.
Yeah, that's a huge pick. A lot had to be used for it, but I think it's worth it.
Oh, 100%.
They used 2 ultimates to secure this one. So when you look at this fight here for T1, they don't have any ability to get FaZe in the position to do consistent damage because their jungler went in so early. Like, Owner's so far up there that DPLUS is just like, nah, FaZe can't get in, and we're just going to wait. And then eventually everyone from T1 backs away, but the Pantheon is just not lucky enough to do so. So Owner dies. That leads to a Baron, but the next play, which catches Shiu, really puts a dampener on how much damage DPLUS want to get with this Baron, which is opening up these inhibitor turrets and opening up the base. GA done for Owner now. This game is still so incredibly close.
And there is a more of Malmortius now on Lucid as well. I mean, this Jarvan actually does a lot of damage. It will be hard to kill him. His GA is still on cooldown for the next little while, though, so does need to be a little careful. Imagine to have that advantage.
Imagine if DPLUS had a Chemtech Soul and this was Elder about to spawn while they had Baron. That Secure of the Dragon for T1 is doing them so much work in this game.
Oh, yeah. And Showmaker now splitting towards that bottom side. This is a composition that runs 1-3-1 pretty effectively. But once again, I mean, it's a negative Rebel Baron power play. T1 playing into this Baron over and over again. It's just putting, like, Isaac Zale Cummings Bentley's voice in my mind. Baron just isn't that good. And it's kind of proving to be true here, as even with 2 of them, DPLUS haven't been able to extend that lead all that far.
With a Rise and a Caitlyn, you have so much wave clear, especially against that mid wave, which is what DPLUS have been mostly playing through, especially after losing their top laner, that it is not that powerful of a Baron here. Dragon's up in 25 seconds here. FaZe will have his flash soon, but doesn't have it yet. I think he'll have it just as this is spawning, which is huge for him, because this time they don't actually have that flanking Aatrox necessarily.
He is looking for it, though, and now Doran trying to escape. Showmaker with that gold card locked, and T1 moving so far away. My God, that True Shot Barrage is so much damage. Doran is out of here, can teleport back.
DPLUS just have to rush this down. They have to just rush this Dragon down as fast as possible. It is a Chemtech Dragon. It's not that tanky. I think they should be able to get it. Shiu's still holding this flank. Showmaker looks for the flank himself.
Shiu's like the big bad wolf, man. He's just lurking in the jungle, in the forest, waiting to grab them. That is going to be the Chemtech Soul, only further buffing this massive Aatrox in this game.
That was such a great way to set up for that Dragon control as all.
Oh no, Doran's just dead. He was trying to walk through that T1 door, and unfortunately just wasn't able to this time around.
They could have TP'd him back into the fight, but he stayed, and Showmaker zoned him away, and there was just no way to get to the Dragon for T1. DPLUS didn't look for a fight, they just looked for control. As Lucid's just going to do some trap clearing here and potentially set a bait, but I don't think there's really any follow-up to this.
Yeah, it was just kind of wandering away from a few of the abilities that were coming in. Playing some defense, the Showmaker here towards his top side with his Magi's now completed. Only 5 stacks. Oh yeah, and Twisted Fate, there is one thing that he does really well, and that is destroy turrets extremely quickly, especially with this build. You go Death Cap, you got a Lich Bane, man,
you have all that
turrets
AP,
do not last.
But you were designed as an AD champion, it feels like in so many ways.
Yeah, just auto. Why do cards hurt structures that much? Yeah. I don't know. But that is just kind of canonically true here in League of Legends.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone's seen some YouTube guy like throw a card into a watermelon. It's kind of like that.
I've seen a lot of those. They're great.
They're pretty crazy. DPLUS they've been doing such a good job of controlling objectives and not losing the game.
5 items, Wolf. 5 items for pace. I'm scared.
They're not doing the risky team fight thing. They're not doing the forced team fight. They're doing the I'm near Paze as Aatrox. You can't fight, and we win the objective. This gold lead has gone up substantially as they get more and more of these structures off the map, but they haven't done the lethal blow to T1 just yet. And T1 have such an incredibly strong team fighting composition. If they can just keep Owner grouped with the squad and use them as more of a frontline than an engaged tool, I feel like the longer fight is almost always won by T1 if they can get map control for an objective as This is not the time I want to see it.
You can see there are some buttons being pressed. And here we are. So, a brief interlude.
I think DPLUS have one more job to do, which is to secure either this Baron
I thought you were going to say kill the Nexus.
Well, that's like what they do. They get to do that for free once they do the job.
That's the reward for the job.
So either get this Baron or get this Elder, right? And I think the Baron's spawning first will likely be what they get. If they lose the Baron and just defend, I think they're still in the strong spot.
Owner's taking a lot of damage. He does have a GA, so he's not going to die from this, but True Shot Barrage through the base gate, not going to hit him.
Good prediction of where I probably would have True Shot the same way, expecting Owner to walk down there, but he does not. As could have gotten a GA there, but you cannot be losing your jungler. That's what happened last time around, although it was, again, not necessarily his fault. It was set up there for DPLUS. And DPLUS are just playing this oppressive style where they have Destiny Gate to play through. They have this Jarvan with Flash and Ult. It's incredibly powerful. Has GA himself now. And he just seems to be a lot more potent in these fights. I mean, he's 4,000 gold up on his opposition.
Dear.
Speaking of,
there it is. Dash Cannon does get Showmaker closer to that gold card. Doran taking a lot of damage. True Shot Barrage is going to snipe him, but he is able to get himself out of the way. But Flash now down on the Ambassador, and the ulti's already used.
I mean, that might just be like Baron Prio. That might just be enough. Shiu has TPs pushing bottom wave right now, but could just TP in and they could just take this. If they get this Baron Siege, I don't know if T1 will be able to recover because that leads to Elder. And DPLUS don't have to win a team fight to win this game. They just need to get these objectives. And they decide to pull off of it right now as Owner's walking forward on the Vision. They might punish him. Showmaker's got that gold card.
Yeah, he's lining it up. And it is the final spark just to spot what's happening in that Baron pit. They do get the good news. The Baron hasn't been taken.
The discipline of DPLUS in this game is out of control. They're just not going to flip anything.
I like how you say that it's out of control when discipline is about being in control.
They're so out of control, well-behaved.
They're out of control in control. It's the best. All right. DK, though, they still need to do something to push this advantage forward. Otherwise, T1 might just be able to outlast them here in this game. But Shiu on that flank angle. And 1 minute and 30 seconds, and then things start to get complicated. Yeah, with an Elder on the Rift as well as a Baron.
The ult for Doran is back up, of course. He doesn't have his flash anymore, but he has TP. He actually got a little bit of bottom side control there, which he hasn't had for a little while since Shiu rotated up preemptively.
Yep, she is level 20. Doran almost about to hit that mark.
Here we go.
Now we're looking for the engage. Korea with the speed up. And Faker not going to quite get on top of Smash just yet. Does manage to get over towards him, but has to go golden very early. Showmaker, does he have the gold card? Faker doesn't have his life. And Smash is going to be able to take him down. There's that kill. And an overextension. And now Doran is going to suffer the same fate. No public execution for anything other than yourself, my friend. And DPLUS have taken out the solo lanes. Owners go in the other direction to try and pull these minions and deny the end of the game. But it should just be the jungler dead with Elder coming up. The Baron as well. It should be Exodia for DPLUS.
DPLUS should just be able to get that, but if they get more here, they might be able to end the game.
Yeah, Carrier looking to try and hold Shiu into position. This is what we were talking about before. That's a decent Umbral dash. But if they have the extra CC, Paze might be able to get it done. And Ace in the Hole does come in, but Shiu is still just fine.
Yeah, he's totally fine here. Did his job exactly correctly there. Doesn't flash onto Paze because he knows Paze would just flash away and kill him. They get the Baron. Baron should lead to Elder, as we'll see if there's any way T1 can muster defense here. But this is just DPLUS being so patient. And in a rare moment of overextension here for T1, in a rare moment of a lack of patience here in this game, Faker just sends it. I mean, this is unlike T1, but just watching DPLUS just spend this entire game avoiding fights and waiting for T1 to come into an objective or make a mistake is crazy to me. Like, DPLUS have grown so much. They used to be a team that was so indecisive, a team that would snap engage at the wrong moments, but now they're just the macro gods sitting back and saying, your move, T1.
But this is the thing, right? Like, this is what DPLUS used to be so good at back in the day. This is why they were like the kings of 2020 and most of 2021 until EDG kind of pipped them at the post at the very end. It's the 1-3-1. It's playing the map, playing side lanes,
and it's crazy that
getting victories.
80% of this roster is different,
yeah,
but they came back to it. Showmaker eventually taught those kids how to do it, and look, they did the job I said that was the last job left to do, and now Atlas, I think what's really left, like you said, is killing the Nexus. That's the last possible thing they have to do in this game. They have done their job. They have the win con. All they got to do is push to end now.
We'll see whether they can actually do it, because this would be devastating if they were to lose here. 10,000 gold going to be their advantage this time around, returning the favor that T1 gave to them in game number 1. Now Smash is trying to find this next turret, and yeah, the counter siege is pretty good for T1. This is the third Baron of the game for DPLUS, and their first positive Rebel Baron power play.
For now.
They have Elder as well. Like, they have Elder, Soul, and the Baron. And if they were to ever lose any of these fights, it would be absolutely ridiculous.
DPLUS are spilling in now with a minute and 20 on this Elder. I think they should be able to end if any of this poke lands, and it's starting to hit.
Oh my goodness, Smash does so much damage. There's Lucid getting the knock-up onto Faker. Just one more shot. The gold card is denied by Faker. The wild cards don't come in. It's public execution onto Showmaker into the back line. They do take out Faker, though. The final spark not quite working. Owner is going to execute Showmaker, but now he's in such an awkward spot. Lucid as well, down to the GA, though, and Owner trying to fight with Shio. I think we know who wins that battle, but it's Pays picking up a couple of kills.
The minions are here.
Smash needs to do this for DPLUS if they want to win off the back of this Elder. Otherwise, T1 might find themselves in a decent spot. 2 inhibitors are now down. True Shot Barrage. Carrier going to get executed by a Dragon. Pays taken out by Shio. And I think they've done it. DPLUS are going to give us 3 games here at the T1 home ground.
Very close.